Hello, friendly friend baby dolls. We're going to tone down the message of this video because there are a lot of government assets who browse YouTube and they're on the ball. And wink, wink, I'm gonna have to use some metaphors and I can't speak directly, but you will get the underlying message still, okay? So if I speak differently, you know why. I don't want to get that shadow ban, if you know what I mean. Okay, so we are in the then they fight you phase with crypto. So the US Fed and the banking cartel, they will continue to fight crypto. But, crypto itself, it's built to be censorship resistant. And the mind virus has already spread. So this is what I try to explain to people all the time. A lot of people say, oh, we're just going to ban Bitcoin. We're just going to ban Bitcoin and crypto. Bitcoin and crypto is a protocol. It's a language. Can you ban the wheel? Can you ban circles? Can you ban the English language? Right? You can't ban them. It's a way of doing things. Okay? It's a behavior. You can't ban that. All right? You can try to squash one, but like the whack-a-mole, others appear, all right? So that's what I've got to get through your head, all right? So now I understand a lot of people don't get this message. That's why they just paper hand everything and just sell the lows. I get it. But now that you know, now you know better, all right? We're learning. It's a protocol. You can't ban language. It's a way of doing things, man. It's like, hey, how are you going to add numbers on a piece of paper? 2 plus 2 is 4. It's like me telling you, okay, I'm going to ban the way you add numbers. Right? It doesn't work. So, we are in the, first they ignore you, which was Bitcoin in the first 4 or 5 years. They ignored Bitcoin, right? Because it was just this imaginary coin, went to the moon, came back 2 times. Then they laughed. So, Bitcoin 2014 to 2020 was, why do they laugh? Because you had the ICO scams. Bitcoin funded Ethereum and then it just launched all the ICOs. That's why they were laughing. They were like, oh my God, it was literally just grifters and scammers and everyone coming in, right? And dumping on everyone and deep brain chain, all these other stuff, right? Now we're in the then they fight you part, okay? This is where the gloves have to come on and, we're wearing mittens and we are well equipped. Thank you very much. So, this then they fight you phase, we don't know how long it's going to last for. Could be 4, 5, 6, 7 years, who knows, right? I've got to let you know too that, this is the funny part, friends. The US dollar, the Dixie, the DXY, when the US dollar gets too strong, other countries get crushed because they have too much debt. So what ends up happening is the other countries have an incentive to open up their hearts to the mind virus of crypto around the world. Isn't that cool to know that as the US dollar gets too strong, right, it makes it easier for us. That's why, I know I'm ahead of the game, but I was telling everyone, man, I know the US dollar's going up, but crypto should be going up with it. And everyone doesn't want to believe me, but it's true. Think about it, When DXY goes up, you start to crush Britain. You start to crush all other countries with debt, right? And they have to explore alternatives, right? They've got to explore different ways to pay for the commodities and get the country running. And then we win. So we're not at the and then you win part. I promise you, if we had already won, there's no money left. All right. The fact that they're fighting us, now here comes the risky part, right? Well, it's risky from the start, right? But this is the cool thing. So remember, I'm going to tone it down the language. So there was an article come out, right? So recently, the crypto community is confused, right? So let's read this title first. So from Cointelegraph, right? Bitboy calls it Cointelegraph because it's always very dodgy beginnings for this website. So the SEC lawsuit against Paxos over BUSD, so the Binance US dollar, baffles the crypto community. How is it a security? Oh my God. Now, I want you to know, friends, I have to watch my language. I know the game they're playing, but you got to respect it because that's the game. If you were a dictator, this is what you would do. If I employed you to keep total world domination and control, this is exactly what you would do. So you don't see me getting blood boiling angry over it. We just got to adjust our strategy and we just know how to navigate the future. Okay, so I've got here on the right, the US Fed's goal, make Bitcoin USDC pair the most volume traded pair in crypto. So right now it's Bitcoin USDT Tether. All right. Now, okay, let's look at this. Okay. So after the FTX collapse, Binance consolidated power. All right. It did, right? So I've even got this note here, right? The US Fed must defend its US dollar dominance over the world. So the US Fed has private owners, many owners, okay? It's no secret, man. What Rothschild, JP Morgan, you know what they mean, right? They got tentacles everywhere. They got hands everywhere. So that's their goal, man. Now, I don't know, man. Are they going to make USDC a security and have another grand plan? It doesn't really matter. I'm just letting you know this is what their goal is. Their goal is to get the highest volume into their controlled pair. They need it. It's a necessity. It's the only way to have control. Okay? So, look at this. So, USDC Circle, okay? USDC, stablecoin Circle, they're owned by Blackrock, all right? Blackrock, part owners of them, they probably have bigger hands, right? They got hands everywhere, man. That's just how it runs. They had hands in, they had hands in FTX, right? So they were given the ICO. Isn't that funny, man? They were literally given the ICO. It's not funny. I mean, if you want to take over the world, friends, this is exactly what you do. You get into the most powerful people and you say, hey, come and take money and let me buy some of your power, right? So look at this. Very likely there will be a US Fed coin in the future and it will be USDC, right? So it'll be transferable one for one. So they're not going to say it's the Fed dollar. It's just they're going to have some background ways where you can transfer it. And it's accounted as a Fed dollar, right? Because in these governments, they just care about control and power. They don't care about bleeding edge innovation, right? They're the complete opposite of people who want to move forward. They want to keep everything still. So they're never inventing anything. So it's in their best interest when someone invents something and they go to them and say, hey, I've got this tech. Hey, government, let's link up. The government always will be like, oh, cool, let's take over the world with this, right? That's what they do. That's why you can't even really trust Coinbase. You know, Coinbase, you guys are forgetting, man. You can go back to my earlier tweets. Coinbase was handing over everybody's data and private info to the US government. Coinbase are in bed with the government. Something went wrong along the way, okay? So if I was to just speculate, the CEO, Brian Armstrong, he was in bed with them and the deal never held up somewhere. We'll never know, okay? Maybe he gave them info and then they wanted more. And then he's like, whoa, crap. This is against the principles I was thinking about, right? So I don't know. Was he a silly poo-poo? Or did he know? It's up to you to decide. You're never really going to know, right? Sometimes these people are just incompetent, okay? Sometimes some people come in and they just think, oh, wow, yeah, the government's going to love this thing, okay? So I want you to understand there's so many moving parts here, but there is a clear trend and direction, okay? That's Coinbase, okay? Now let's go to Circle. So very likely, right, the BTC USDC pair, that's their target. Right? I've made a video. You can go back to my earlier videos. I've made how they manipulate Bitcoin with the CME futures. Okay, because if they have USDC, they will have access to that. You know, friends, crypto and finance, there's a lot of shady, blurry areas, right? Like, just imagine. A friend asked me, like, oh, but they can't get all the Bitcoin to borrow to be able to dump on the market and control. And I said, yeah, well, I'm gonna quickly show you something, all right? What if you made, this is me. I wrestle crocodiles. I'm wearing socks and slippers right now. I don't know if you can hear me tapping on the floor. I'm tapping my feet on the floor with my slippers right now. And I want you to know, if I can think of this live video streaming to you, what are they going to think about? Okay, so I already know the answer. Okay, I have not thought about this before, right? They can make a money market, all right? They can make a money market and they can have BTC to deposit and they'll give you a loan for it. And the loan they'll give you is, surprise, surprise, USDC. So what happens is everybody from the outside puts their their BTC in, and maybe they'll have like, maybe they can collect a money market. Maybe they can collect like 100,000 BTC, right? And then here's the funny part, friends. They can give you USDC, but they print it out of thin air. So it's literally the most perfect evil trap. It's like, hey, give us all your precious Bitcoin, and then you can borrow. Say these people here, this person deposits, they deposit their Bitcoin in, and then they borrow USDC. But they print the USDC. That's why the government wants control of it. Okay? Now I'm toning down the language. Smiley faces, cheery everywhere, right? If I end up dead, I didn't kill myself. Okay, so I'm just letting you know this is their grand plan. Please don't tell anyone. Okay, so this is their grand plan. Because this is what my grand plan would be. My grand plan would be control USDC, get it to be the most volume. It has the biggest market brand in the market. It has dominance. Then you can make a money market. You can get JP Morgan and Bank of America and all the other banks years down the line, now that the tentacles are in, right? Now that the tentacles are in, by the way, I don't know why butt plug is trending in Australia. Yeah, okay. But now that the tentacles are in, what they can do is they can introduce loans for the people and say, oh my God, you have Bitcoin. Wow, here's a money market from you for you. And, we have KYC and all this cool stuff, but, we're linked in. By the way, the government can always sweeten the deal. Like they can say, hey, we'll give you a tax break and we'll give you like great services and we'll link up stuff, and they can make it easier for you and penalize if you don't do this. So you have every incentive to grab the Bitcoin up and put it in their money market, and then they have control over it, right? And it doesn't have to be a money market. I'm using the word money market. It can just be like a fund. I'm using 2mm. It can literally be a Blackrock fund, right? So it can be Blackrock, right? Fund, their ETF. It can just be this, right? And then you can borrow on it. That's what they do with gold, by the way. Shocking, friends. That's what they do with gold. They let you take your gold. If you buy their ETF, you can borrow on it as margin. Now they have everyone trapped. Isn't that sad, friends? It's sad. But that's how the game is played. So let's slow it down here. What's going on? Okay, so if you have money, right? Let's say this is what they do with gold right now. Okay, so here's gold. Okay, if you have money, this is gold. If you have money and you want to go out there and buy gold, right? This is you. If you want to go out there and buy gold, you can. But what the government did was they released the ETF for gold. So this is like G ETF, the gold ETF. And what happens is, if you buy their gold ETF, you can borrow on it. So you can be a degen. You're like, okay, if I have gold, no one accepts it for margin, right? But if you have the gold ETF, then okay, I have $1 million in there. I can borrow $100,000 on it and invest and yield and stuff. Do you see how they make it easier? And they don't let you do that with real physical gold. So they're going to do the same thing with Bitcoin. So if you have Bitcoin in their fund and you give them the money that you were going to spend in Bitcoin, because remember, if you have US dollars, you can go buy. So this is BTC and this is going to be the ETF, right? And this is you. This is you. If you have money, you can go buy a real spot Bitcoin, but that's bad for them. That's bad. That's killing the US dollar, and that's making Bitcoin more powerful. But what if they made money markets on JP Morgan, Bank of America, and they controlled the volume such that if you go buy their Bitcoin ETF, which is BTC USDC, see what I mean? Whoops. Oh, yeah, here we go. BTC. If you can go BTC USDC, that's right. BTC slash USDC. Okay. So with this main volume, okay, that's in the ETF. Now they have the money that you would have gone and pushed Bitcoin price up. So this prevents Bitcoin from ever going to 1 million. Okay. You never get to 1 million. That's 1 million. They're trying to stop that, okay? That stops, big X. Why? How are they doing it? All the money that would have gone there, you're now buying their product, and they're controlling it, okay? That's what they do with gold. So this is where it's all coming from. And now we're going to continue, right? So what ends up happening is, look at this. The Federal Reserve, right, owned by Rothschild, JP Morgan, they want to control Bitcoin. But look what happened. With the FTX collapse, Binance consolidated power. See? Binance's power went big. They took over with even more BUSD started gaining. And so they had to send in the emergency henchmen. The US Fed, right, I'm not going to use certain tone here, but the US Fed just said to the SEC, hey friends, I think BUSD is doing something illegal, wink, 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 wink. And they're like, okay, yeah, they are doing something illegal. Let's go take them down. And they did. All right. So now we go back. Everyone's like, oh, golly, gee, I'm so baffled. I'm so baffled right now, friends. I can't figure out why they called it a security. Well, you're figuring it out right now. Okay. You know exactly why now. They got to keep it the highest volume. I even finished off this post, right? I made another post here. I'll just show you the market depth for the highest volume trading pairs. Look what's number one. BTC USDT. Okay. You know where USDC is? It has dominance. It has some good like market cap. People putting money and using it. But Bitcoin trading is not routing through it. Everybody's using Tether. So this is where you now have to think. It's a game of chess. Do they go and take down Tether? Do they go do that? Or, you never know, man. These governments, right? They don't want to cause chaos. They don't want me and you to know that they're doing some hush-hush stuff behind the scenes. They want to keep everything. They want us to keep us literally like zombies. Just walk forward in life. Don't look left. Don't look right. Okay, so now you got to think. Will they take on Tether? Or the alternative, will they present an offer to Tether of some sorts? Where Tether's like, well, okay, we're just going to hand it over. Maybe the government has some sort of agreement where they put a regulatory framework in and Tether can't pass it. They can do that, friends. They do that. Of course they do that. They can literally, man, Rothschild and JP Morgan, they own the Federal Reserve. They'll make the rules, man. They will literally make rules for themselves. They change the loopholes, they make the rules. So they can literally make rules such that Tether, USDT, does not fit into them. Okay? So, and what they can do is they can just keep it so that, here's USDT, okay, and then here's USDC. They can just basically write any rules they want, just give this like 3 ticks, right? So, and then just make this look like dark, shadowy, right? Have you noticed how there's always Tether FAR that comes here and there? Now you got to think, man, is it paid for or whatever? So this is where we got to like sit back and go, all right, now that we know this information, how can we act on it? Well, now that you understand like the FUD and what's going on and stuff, I want you to know this is nothing new. Okay, this has plagued humans forever, but this is what's going on. Okay, they want to get the volume into their controlled coin. Then when they do that, they can print the money, they can control the futures, and they can easily push Bitcoin up and down whenever they want to, okay? Obviously, they want to keep a lid on it down. They don't want Bitcoin to hit $1 million because that's really bad for fiat, okay? So now that we know this game, when I see, so this is why my friends love me, all right? I'll read all this information and I'll actually say, okay, how does this translate to a chart? What does this tell us to act? How can we make money off this idea? Well, this just adds probability to the fact that Bitcoin is diminishing. Okay? Man, I hope we go up here. I really do, we hope. But I think Bitcoin, this is cycle number 3. So we had 1, 2. We just had cycle number 3. Now we're going into cycle 4. Not only are there more people coming, it's harder to push up the prices, but now hey man, like the US Fed, they want US dollar dominance. They got to keep a lid on Bitcoin down. And they're doing every single trick in the book to do this. Because it's literally pure money. So they have every incentive to do this. And they're trying to get this USDC volume. And when they start routing it through, then they can actually start keeping the lid on it like they do with gold. Okay, so this just means, when we sit back, we think, okay, how much weight do you want to allocate to Bitcoin? I know there are people out there with 100% weight, but even if the government was ultimately going to lose here, which I don't think they are, but even if they were, I still think it's worth our time to spend, 16, 18 hours a day, like, subscribe, bell button, and find other opportunities with crypto growing, right? Going further down the risk curve. So this just adds to the conviction that, hey, your odds of retiring, of buying Bitcoin at 20 or 25K, very low. They're like even lower now because I'm just seeing the game play out. And by the way, oh man, I hope I'm wrong. I hope Bitcoin goes to 500K and they slip up somewhere, or it goes to 1 million. I really hope it does. But you have to protect yourself now. So it's obvious the government loves Ethereum. Yeah? The government likes them. Okay? It loves EVMs because it knows them. It sees how everything's going. It's not fully private and stuff, and everyone's working with them. Okay? So you have to put your feet on the ground here. You put your slippers on the ground and say, okay, what hill do you want to die on, friends? Because, man, yeah, you can support decentralization and everything to the end, but you're still going to be employed. Okay? You're going to be employed. You're going to be working in your cubicle or going out and doing a trade, and you're going to be paying taxes, and you're going to be breaking your back and breaking your sweat. And then poor you, literally, you're going to be doing circles, and then 30 years are going to pass, and you're not going to retire, and you're going to wonder, man, how did I work for like 20, 30 years, and I was never able to get ahead of the game? Okay, so unfortunately, dying on the hill, that's useful if you bought Bitcoin at $1 and you're worth like, 800 million. You're like, yeah, man, I don't care about making money. I got 800 million. But most of you don't, man. You're trying to escape the rat race here. And it's not about whether me and you think the rat race is going to end or anything else. It's that me and you know the wave of the next 100 million people coming into crypto, they're trying to escape the rat race too. How do you think they're going to behave, friends? I just want to ask you that. Do you think the next 100 million people are going to come in and buy Bitcoin at $50,000 or 100,000? Do you think they're going to do that? Or do you think there's a higher likelihood chance they're going to go for coins that are new, fresh, new logo, new ticker, right? Maybe there's staking, there's yield generation, new gaming, metaverse, NFT, different communities, okay? You see the point I'm going with this, okay? So, unfortunately, it's not a lovely life to die on the hill now anymore. It was great at the start for Bitcoin. It was, man, cycle one, yeah, man, it's so easy to cheer for that decentralization narrative because the price went up. But what happens when the price doesn't go up? Governments understand this more than anything else, friends. That's my final message here. You think I understand price go up? Governments understand it more than anything. They understand when something's price goes up, that means the US dollar's going down. That's why they have to do this and control this, all right? So, we're not going to let this get us down. At least we have a strategy, man. We now know what this translates to. In the charts, it probably means a droopy Bitcoin cycle for the fourth cycle, It's not really going to kill it for you. It's going to, up, down, left, right. But we now know, man. That's why I do this research all day, and this adds to my conviction. It really does add to my conviction that when I research coins and looking at everything else, right, you want to be ahead of the game, okay? So when I see this, Bitcoin, cycle 4, Ethereum, cycle 3, I'm going to change. And then here we go. Chainlink, cycle 2, cycle 2, cycle 3, cycle 2, 1, 1, 1, okay? So, you can get, uni, I guess you can tick it. Tick, 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 tick. There you go, friends. The earlier you are, the better. You've really got to get ahead of the next crowd coming in, okay? Bitcoin, I love you. Greatest invention ever, seriously. Really. Changed everyone's life. But too powerful now, okay? Too powerful. Until next time, friends.